What is going on, Trash Talkers? We are back with another episode for you. Today, we continue our series on taking a deep dive into some of the best college athletes coming out in the NFL draft this year. We're going to take a look at Kwity Paye, defensive end coming out of the University of Michigan. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about him. All that and much more coming your way right now. Nick, we are one day closer. Yesterday we talked about Micah Parsons. Now we are talking about Kwity Paye, who is arguably the best defensive end edge rusher that we have in this draft, in a draft filled with defensive freaks on the edge.
Absolutely, and Kwity Paye is one of the top guys we're going to be looking at when we talk about defensive ends. He is one. He's got the ideal body type at 6'4", 275 pounds. That's a great blend of strength and athleticism, similar to how Micah Parsons is that perfect blend at linebacker. Kwity Paye is the best NFL ready defensive end in this draft class. And I think that's why he's starting to creep up leaderboards and starting to compete with Gregory Rousseau as the top defensive end in this draft class. He has so much to offer. And I think it all starts with his ability to rush the edge. I think that he has such brute strength for his size. He's able to get to the quarterback extremely well, extremely efficiently. And I think that he's going to translate very similarly in the NFL. I think that we see that a lot with defensive ends. It doesn't matter what if what you see in college is what you see in the NFL. Where I think he does have a little bit of a weakness is his ability to play against the run. I think that he lacks the size, especially against bigger tackles in the NFL. I think that he's just going to be bullied around. He lacks athleticism in his lower body that gives him the nimbleness it takes to get around them and to make tackles and make plays. He is very slow and just takes some. He still has some grooming to go in that aspect where other players are much more, they're going to be more well built for that. So I think Kwity Paye right out of the gate offers a ton, but he still has some room where coaches are going to need to work with him, and that's why he is a step below Gregory Rousseau.
I like Kwity Paye over Rousseau. I believe that he needs to be in a specific system, though. And I think that's the difference. I think Greg Rousseau, which we'll talk about in another video, is more of a 3-4 defensive end, where I believe Kwity Paye is more of a 4-3 defensive end. I believe that he's just a very athletic defensive end that's going to rush the passer, and he's going to do something. He's going to do that very thing very well. If he's in a 4-3 defense, he's not going to have to worry about the run too much because they have two defensive tackles next to him that'll be able to shift over and help him out. On top of the fact that he'll have linebackers behind him to help out as well. I mean, taking a look at Kwity Paye, he is unnaturally explosive. He's extremely quick off the edge, and he can get around any tackle in a pass rush situation. I absolutely love this guy coming off the edge, and I think he should be considered a top 10 player in the NFL draft this year. When I'm taking a look at pro comparisons, though, he reminds me a lot of a guy that plays in Los Angeles, Joey Bosa. He reminds me a lot of his quickness and his athleticism, but like you said, he struggles in the run game. And I believe that he needs to be in a situation where he's going to have support that's going to help him. Where, Joey Bosa has Linval Joseph next to him that can help him in the run game. He has Melvin Ingram on the opposite side. So he has pieces around him. I think that Kwity Paye needs to go to a system just like that. I like Joey Bosa as his pro comparison here.
Yeah, I like Joey Bosa. I think that makes a lot of sense. Another guy I think that he compares well to is Carlos Dunlap. I think the two of them are similar body types and they play very similarly. They use their hands a lot to push tackles backward and to get around to the quarterback. They don't have the greatest athleticism, but they make do with the tools they have and they have success with it. I think that if Kwity Paye can live up to Carlos Dunlap, that's exactly what teams are looking for in a player at where he's going to be drafted, middle of the pack or back end of the first round. So I expect Kwity Paye to have a very successful NFL career.
Absolutely. And like I said, I believe that he has to go to a scheme that's going to fit him the best. I believe it'll be a 4-3 scheme. So when I take a look at some of the teams that run a scheme like that, it's going to be very tough to find one in the top 10 where he should go. But I'm taking a look at the Carolina Panthers. I'm taking a look at the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they have some other issues that they're going to have to work on. I'm taking a look at some of these other teams where he has to go to a specific system to thrive. Otherwise, he's going to be eaten whole. Because when you have the struggles that he does in the run game, going to a 3-4 defense is all but over for your career at that point.
I'm actually going to point out two other teams that you didn't mention, and that's the Jets because they have the Seahawks pick from the Jamal Adams trade and the Indianapolis Colts. I think that early 20s is where he's going to go, and I think both of those places he'll fit extremely well. I mean, if you think about Kwity Paye next to Quinnen Williams, I think that would be a great pairing, and they run a hybrid defense, so he can work in 4-3 packages and 3-4 packages, however they see fit. And the Indianapolis Colts primarily run 4-3, so that would be a perfect scheme for him as well. I think that either of those two options make a lot of sense, but if there's a team out there willing to pay a bigger price and get him in the top 10, I think that he would be absolutely worth it.
For sure. And just to end on a good note, I think Kwity Paye really is the bar that we're looking at when we're talking about edge rushers. But like I said in the open, there's so many pass rushers and edge rushers that we have in this draft. He is just the beginning of a long list of potential long-time NFL pass rushers. Well, that's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.